Hi everyone, this is Lauren coming at you from the break zone with a channel update. So I went to the ARG San Jose event yesterday, had a blast. I actually took Matthew Ikumoto's Ice Earth deck, thanks to my teammate David Corey for lending it to me, and got to play a little bit. Got to have some fun, and I finished. So that event had 39 participants. I finished 4-2, so I did not make top 8, but I think I could have done better. I just needed. I mean, unlike Okimoto, I didn't put in the amount of play testing and the amount of time on it as he did. Because if I knew my matchups better, I believe I could have done better. Unfortunately, I did not do all the right plays and pay as perfectly as he did during the Boston Crystal Cup. So I after this event, I kind of looked over some of the cards that and reassessed my how I felt about those cards and how effective they really were. One of them being Phoenix. So people playing the Wonder Twins deck, Phoenix works really well with the 3-drop Palom, and as well as VV or any other 3-cost or less forward that you might think of any element actually, and being able to deal 8k and possibly, let's say, have Palom come in dealing 7k to another forward and having a forward duel in play on their second main phase can really help you win matches. Arcanist. My mono ice opponent played Arcanist, and I forgot about it until I got to mid game, and I had 3-4 cost forwards, and my opponent was facing lethal, and then he calls for a couple turns, gets an orphan, and I just thought to myself, like, I really should have saved, like, used my devout for lock earlier on instead of another four drop. I could have made a difference. I can't remember every single line of play that game, but if you're facing mono ice, keep that in mind, that you want to not just deck build, but also play out fours of different cost. And while 4 cost feels like you're protecting against ice, especially if they play Zalera, if you have too many 4 costs in play, Arcanist is gonna hurt you. Orphan is as good as advertised. It's great in any deck that plays mostly ice, and it definitely won out games for people that I got to watch. Edward. So previous iterations of Edwards were nowhere close to as good as this one. This one, on the other hand, if you have, for example, Harley in play, is all of a sudden a 1-cost forward that discards a card from your opponent's hand, and any future copy of him is going to cancel summons. That's awesome. But even if you don't play Harley, you're usually trying to restrict your opponent's resources, especially make them discard. And even if it costs you, even if you pay 3 for Edward, you're forcing your opponent to follow your game plan of, hey, you're low on resources, hopefully you make some inefficient plays. On the other hand, I am going to go and try to swing in, and it counts as a backup and it discards a card. That's exactly what you want to do. So Thaumaturge, thank you to Sean Plowman for the comment to make me realize that Thaumaturge is a standard unit. You can have multiple copies of it on the field at the same time, while Argus, who used to take that spot for the 2-drop discard forward, is a unique character. So multiple Thaumaturge, if you draw them, can help you just restrict your opponent's choices by making them discard. The Mateus bluff is real. If they're playing ice, either they have it or they don't. But one thing that I was reminded of yesterday when I played was that if you can help it, don't test your luck against Mateus. As in, you're at 2 damage, they're swinging in with a Thaumaturge, and you think about blocking with something, and unless it's a favorable trade for you, where even if that forward gets broken, you'll be just fine, I wouldn't test my luck too often. And in the end, just as Maxwell Williams showed in the Boston Petit Cup, only the 7 points of damage really matters to you. Like going down to like 5 or 6 damage, it doesn't lose you the game, at least not at that point. So I think at one point I lost a forward early on. I was at 2 or 3 damage. They attacked, and I mean, it was like, well, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. But I didn't even need to make that choice. I should have just let it through. So be careful about that. And sometimes, you know what, taking a couple points of damage isn't the worst thing that could happen. Losing your forward might be just that much worse and just sets you back. Wall is as good as advertised, and the ability that I used the most had to be the protection from EX that protects all forwards from EX burst. So if for some odd reason you hit, let's say, a Leviathan on EX burst, your opponent cannot bounce their own characters either, their own forwards either with it. Otherwise, being able to use that 3000 damage to adult forward ability might be able to break that Ilua shield for you. So congratulations to my other teammate, was Philip. He was able to get second place with a Psychom Warden deck, and I noticed on Facebook somebody else ran a Psychom Warden deck and did well. I think it was in Australia. So I don't know much about the decks that run it, and I'm waiting on them to post a video actually to showcase the deck, and I look forward to it. I mean, it's always interesting to see cards and interactions that I haven't thought of, and this might be one of those cards that you have to keep in mind. Ilua is great and a pain to deal with, so be careful about blocking with an AK, because if they have another copy of her in their hand, all of a sudden their Ilua is trading with your AK, and you know that might not be exactly what you want to do. Or sometimes you attack into an Ilua and they special her to activate her and take out your, let's say, a 7k forward versus her being 6k and giving the 2000 power reduction. Be careful about that. There's a lot of tricks with Lua, so she's a great card. If you don't have a playset of her, I highly advise that you do try to get one, unless you really hate playing Mono Lightning. But if you consider Mono Lightning at all, or even any deck with Lightning, Lua would be a strong consideration, just as Andy Carmona's deck that I actually showed off in the video earlier on showed, like that Ilua is good. Zemus, if you see it, break it. Like, you need to get rid of it. Allowing your opponent to bring back, let's say, Al Cid package, it's not fun. Or even Amon. So if they have Zemus in play, Amon in the break zone, and Ilua in play, all of a sudden being able to, you know, bring back Amon and then doing an Ilua special, reactivating all of them. I mean, doling 2 of your forwards and having 2 damage, one from Zemus, one from her, or even playing out Ramza afterwards for 3 to have a 9k forward, and with Lulu backup, make it a 10k forward. That can straight up just win you the game. So just be careful about that. Clan of Darkness is awesome, and it works not only in mono water decks because it counts all forwards, not just water forwards. It can help you in some matchups, like for example, if your opponent plays an Emperor and you need your abilities, then playing a Clan of Darkness as removal can work out for you. Also, the fact that when she attacks, if they only have one bigger forward that's a good blocker, then she can reduce the power and just kind of win out combat that way. But keep in mind that if you're playing mono water monsters and they're locking out your monsters from turning into forwards to count for her trigger, there are times when that 04 Kafka is still a better choice. So it's really up to you what to mix and match in order to make your play count if you play mono water monsters. But Cloud of Darkness is not always the strictly better choice over Kafka. Schrodinger. So Maxwell Williams, Jinx foils. So yeah, Schrodinger cat, the pot cat, is pretty darn good. It's also not a unique character. You can have multiple of it in play. And if you run the mono water monsters and you look at the top of your deck with Realm, pick out the monsters, put the backups at the bottom, then you play a Porum and you put your backups at the bottom, enter mid lane game, all of a sudden you play Schrodinger, you look for a character from your break zone to put in your hand. Let's say you played with Gal, you get it back, and you get a different character. Like it's a different forward into your hand. If you have Silver Bullets or Cloud of Darknesses or anything else, or Lena, like a Gao into a Schrodinger, into a Lena, into a Realm. I mean, there's all these things, or even CAG, where like that's man, that's yeah, that's the thing. It can be a very potent answer, like mid game, late game, like being able to get any forward from your break zone to your hand can just give you just the answer that you need. Bismarck, one of the few summons where you only get to pick one selection, one ability, but being able to return your character to your hand, or reduce the power of a forward by half rounded down, meaning a 9k would now be 4k for 2 cost, is good. But guess what? It's a 2 cost like water summon, and if you have a 2-drop Yuna backup, then Bismarck is a 1 cost, and at that point that's an amazing play. Porum is better than I expected. I'll admit it. Not just off the EX burst, even just playing it out, because having a Devout in play and staring down a Porum is no fun. Eldnark isn't quite as good as I expected it to be. I mean, it's annoying, but in Constructed, it hasn't made the same splash as it did in Sealed. But I have not witnessed anybody playing out the Paradise Special like right in front of me live. But if you were able to pull it off and build a deck around it, that's up to you. I just don't think that right now Eldnark is as effective as some people expected. On the other hand, Kamlanot has made waves. 5 cost 9k, being able to search out, let's say, 2-drop Chaos backup, or a Zodiac to go with your Gabronth, and then after that, playing out the Zodiac for 4 due to the fact that you have a dark forward, and then popping off your Gabronth to do a one-sided board wipe. That can definitely help you win combat. And even if you want to, you could even just switch her out to the element that your mono element opponent is playing, and just protect her as a 9k. That's pretty good. Urianger, I saw somebody on Facebook talk about how Urianger by itself works with 1 cost monsters such as Layark and Cactuar. So yeah, that's not bad. Alright, so that's it for that. And also congratulations to my other teammate who actually won out the ARG event. Travis, good job, man. You made it. He played Mono Ice, and he did well. He got it. But let's go over some of the other things that are going on right now with the channel. As you can see on the right, I've noted that we've reached 402 subs. So these lightning sleeves, they're ready to go. So I'll message the winner on YouTube. So make sure that you check your messages, please. I'll put a little time on it, because I know that sometimes giveaways happen where the winner actually does not contact the channel back, and I don't want that to happen. I do want to give these out. So I'll probably give you guys like a week for when I contact the winner. Please reply so I can get your contact information, get these sleeves out to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, I will have to re-roll for the next winner, so that I'm not sitting on these sleeves as if I'm not giving them away. Since we reached 400, but hey, it's not the end of the road. So hopefully we'll get to 500 subs pretty quickly, or soon, or eventually. And for that, 500 is a pretty big milestone. So we're gonna do a special giveaway for something that's a little bit bigger than just the sleeves, like we just did. But keep in mind, all of this is kind of either coming out from sponsorship, or these ones are actually going to be coming out straight out of my wallet. So somebody mentioned they really like the Lightning Plushie, so I went to PAX East, got it. Here you go. So if we reach 500 subs, I'm gonna go ahead and pick out a winner to send out this plushie to. But whoever the winner is, they will also have the choice of getting either that plushie or Iconic Masters Horizon Canopy. So you might have noticed we've done a Magic video. We've done some Magic content now because we actually have a team of a media team for Magic as well. And so whoever wins the next giveaway is going to get to pick between these two, which are, I think, similarly priced. I think Lightning is about 45 and the Horizon Canopy is about 50. So don't worry if you're already subbed. Whoever is our subscriber is entered into all our future giveaways. So hopefully we'll reach out to your friends, and hopefully they like the videos, the content that we do. If you have any comments and suggestions, feel free to just add it at the bottom. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're looking for Opus 5 cards, go ahead and check out Magic Tech Games. They provided the sleeves for the Lightning sleeves that we're giving out. And from what I understand, they're restocking an Opus 5 right now. And if you want those Luas and Walls, they're going to fly off the shelves as they did before. So hopefully you'll be able to get them if you need them. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time.